name is Lauren Huang, and I was accepted to the UPenn Wharton School of Business, also NYU Stern School of Business, the USC Irvine and Young Academy with half tuition, UC Berkeley with $10,000 scholarship, UCI with $50,000 scholarship, UCSD with $20,000 scholarship, UCLA, UCSB, and I was also waitlisted at Harvard. So I will be attending the UPenn Wharton School of Business in the fall. It's definitely bittersweet because my high school years have finally come to an end. But I'm definitely excited to just begin a new chapter in my life, especially because I will be at Penn on the East Coast. And that's somewhere that I haven't really lived before. So I think it's just a really exciting new experience for me. I would definitely say to just have leadership qualities because after talking to my admissions counselors, they were saying that my leadership activities definitely stood out to them. And that was a main factor in why I was admitted to Wharton. And also, I think it's really important just to find what you're passionate about and to really pursue it. And for me, it was mental health, which is a cause that I'm really passionate about just spreading awareness about. And so I created my own organization around that. And I also made my portfolio about that. So I think just having something that you're passionate about, it really speaks to the admissions officers. So my first work was a self-portrait. It was called Let Go. And my final work was called Separation. And I think that throughout the process of creating my portfolio, I did become a lot more experimental with my how I was creating art and just my artistic process, because in my first piece it was just a 2D oil painting and it was more about technical skill, while my last piece I was experimenting with different methods of creating 3D texture on my paintings and using modeling paste and mixing different mediums into my paint. And I think that throughout the creation of my portfolio, I just developed a lot as an artist in the way that I created art, as well as developing the direction that I wanted my portfolio to go in terms of spreading awareness about mental health. And so for my first piece, I actually ended up taking a break from it and completing it after I had finished my entire portfolio. And in doing that, I could really tell how much I had changed as an artist, because when I was creating my first piece, I was kind of stuck and I didn't really know how to go forward with it. But then after I had completed the rest of my portfolio and I went back to that first piece, it was a lot easier for me to figure out what direction I wanted to go with in the piece and to finish it and have it be something that I'm happy with. I actually attended a portfolio review day where I got feedback from a lot of different arts colleges and art programs. And something that stood out to the people who saw my artwork was my storytelling in the artwork, because there's a very clear concept and storyline for the people to follow. And something I think that also stood out to the people I talked to about my artwork, as well as in interviews, my portfolio was the concepts and my artwork in my portfolio were ideas that I talked about a lot. And I think just having that concrete storyline and also just a lot to say in addition about each artwork, my artistic process and also every detail in there is kind of symbolic and furthered the message that I wanted to convey. So I think that really stood out to the people who viewed my portfolio. I think the most challenging part of my portfolio prep was just figuring out how to make my portfolio centered around one concept without making it seem redundant or making it seem too broad of a concept or too small of a concept. And I struggled a lot with just finding new ideas about mental health, because in the beginning I wanted to address mental health issues from more of like a societal perspective, and I wanted to bring up these like social issues that I saw in terms of mental health awareness. But throughout the creation of my portfolio, I learned to just look at mental health in different perspectives. For example, in merchandise, I talked about like the role of mental health in society, but then in my later pieces, such as disturbance, I tried to just look at it from a different perspective, and instead I just conveyed the different like emotions and mental states of different children playing in this sandbox. And for me, that was kind of different from what I had originally expected for my portfolio, but it also brought, I think, like more depth, because I was viewing mental health not just from like a social issues kind of perspective, but also just from like the emotional states that we experience every day. So my GPA is 4.76, and my SAT is 1570. For me, I think, well, I talked a little bit about this earlier, but finding your passion and just pursuing it. And also on top of that, something I learned throughout the college admissions process was how important just risk-taking is, and how important it is to take on challenges. And honestly, it doesn't really matter if you succeed or not the first time. I feel like a misconception that a lot of people have with college admissions is that you have to be successful with so many different things. And that's not really true, because in the end, college admissions officers, they really just want to know like how you've grown from your experiences and how you've taken potentially negative experiences and made them into something positive. And I feel like that shows a lot of maturity as well as a student, to be able to like take these failures and create something positive out of it, and to not be afraid to take risks, because in the end, like college and high school is about learning and growing. And so if you take on challenges and you take risks, that is something that will really reflect positively in your college application. So I started writing my college application essays in the summer before my senior year. And I also attended ICON's summer intensive portfolio prep class. So I did that for the entire summer, about 8 hours every day during the summer before my senior year. So I think the most important thing I learned from ICON is just to use my imagination, because although I did go to an art school for 6 years, in that arts training, I learned more on the technical side of the artistic process, and I learned how to like really render and, you know, create still lifes and things like that. But during my time at ICON, I was really challenged to come up with my own original ideas and to further develop my own concepts based on issues that were really important to me. So I think that just continues into my time beyond ICON as well, because I'm constantly challenging myself to promote messages that are really meaningful to me throughout my artwork, and not just create things for aesthetic value, but also for like depth and meaning. I think one memorable experience I had from ICON was when I created one of my pieces where I drew a sandbox and I needed a visual reference. So instead of just looking on Google, the art teachers helped me create an actual mini sandbox to play with in the studio that I could draw from real life. ICON's atmosphere is just really creative and really open. Like whatever weird ideas you might have, the teachers are always there to just support you and develop it into some amazing artwork. I just want to say thank you so much to Yunjae and Taemin for making my summer portfolio experience really great. I learned so much as an artist, and I know that I will carry those experiences with me forever. I hope you're all doing well, and I wish you the best in the future.